So I chose to do my ethics presentation on the company Founders Brewing Company, which is located right in downtown Grand Rapids. I won't go into too much detail on the background because um, I don't have a lot of time, but basically the background of the ethics scandal was that one of their employees, Tracy Evans, brought to light some racist incidents that were happening, and he ended up suing the company for a racist internal corporate culture. Some examples of things that Tracy Evans experienced were that founders actually had a white man printer as well as a black man printer. So the white man's printer was upstairs where like the managers were, and then the black man's printer was located downstairs. He had multiple incidences of people calling him biracial slurs, and he was also passed by for a promotion, which was given to two employees who had been there for less amount of time than Evans had. Um, so he actually transferred to the Detroit location in 2017, and he experienced a lot of the same things there. So he drove back to Grand Rapids and filed a formal complaint with HR, which is when they let him go due to incomplete projects. Um, and so he filed a lawsuit against founders. And in court, I need to find his name. When Dominic Ryan was called to testify, he um, refused to acknowledge the color of Evans's skin, saying that he didn't know the heritage of him, so he didn't know if he was black or not. And this was suspected to be a tactic that, like, if you don't acknowledge someone's a different race, then how can there be racism in your workplace? The lawsuit was actually dismissed after both parties came to an undisclosed agreement, which no one talks about, but my guess is obviously it's a settlement for money. Um, their leader, Gracie, of the diversity and inclusion section of Founders, actually quit her job because she did not agree with how the case was handled. Um, and there was a statement released by Stevens and Egbers about the agreement and that neither party is at fault, and that the company is taking it as an opportunity to work and grow towards creating a more equal and diverse working environment. Um, on their site, Tracy also had issued a statement about the resolution and that it was resolved legally, and now it's up to founders to work to fix their working environment culture. He also wished founders the best as they pursue these endeavors. Um, Personally, obviously, this is an ethical issue because the human dignity of Tracy Evans was violated under these racist working conditions, and it's his right to have a safe work environment, which was also violated. Um, Personally, I would love to know what the agreement was, which goes back to one of the questions that we had to answer on the forum about is it the public's right to know about these things, which might change my opinion a little bit, especially since this was a newsworthy story. It seems to me that maybe the public should be made aware, but I guess we're not privy to that information. Personally, I don't necessarily agree with this situation, and I think if there had been more transparency as far as resolution, then I would perhaps more likely be able to state if I agreed or disagree with their resolution. Um, this issue that occurred within Founders is actually something that is occurring in many places in our nation today, as seen by a lot of the racial injustices. Um, and many of these companies are having to work intensely to combat these racial injustices. I was led to question how many people would no longer support founders as a result of this. I think for me personally, it's hard to make a judgment call because I'm not like a loyal founders customer, or like I don't go there. So I would be interested to see, as far as like the class, if anyone goes to founders a lot, if they would still support it after they know that this was a case within the company. And I also would like to see the ways in which Founders is working to gain back customer support, because I know it's laid out very clearly in their website under the diversity, equity, and inclusion, the ways in which they're working to build a better working environment. But I would be interested to see how they're trying to draw back in customers, as they lost a lot of customer support, especially like other stores who used to sell their products had stopped selling their products. And I would just be interested to know how they're doing that. This was a pretty intense ethical situation. I can still remember when it was in the news and it was big news. But I also kind of wonder how it would have been handled had it happened during like this time when tensions are like extra high, and if Evans would have fought his case a little bit more instead of just settling. But I'm really curious as to what those terms are, but obviously we're never going to know. So this was a very interesting case to read and research about, and I know I am way over time by like double the amount of time, so I will cut it right here.